Yes, my people, it is your boy VRD, and whoa, it has been a while. I've just been so busy with work, guys. I'll be honest, that's the only reason I have is work. I've been doing a lot of overtime. I've been struggling to find the time to record and edit. The announcers always, as I was saying, the time is currently 2:39 in the morning right now. It's Wednesday, the 4th of October. So yeah, these are the times that I have to record these videos. That's how bad I want to be successful, guys. Anyway, we're down here at Peterborough station. We have a nice little five carriage 801, and this is what I like to call the ultimate test because this is a route that I'm not familiar on. I'm still in the process of learning the speed limits and braking points for this route. I'm going to test myself to see if I can drive from Peterborough all the way up to Doncaster during the night without the HUD. So this is the northbound trip. I'm yet to learn the southbound trip, but I haven't driven southbound once yet. I'm gonna try and memorize northbound first and then learn southbound afterwards. So yeah, it should be quite interesting. I know nighttime runs aren't too good for YouTube because you can't really see anything, but I thought it would be a good laugh, and I really want to put myself to the test and share this experience with you guys. So Thameslink Class 700 over there, that would have come from Horsham, I believe. So without further ado, let's go in and get set up. I'm going to be running quite late on this run, but I couldn't care less, to be honest. So we're going to enter the cab. It is quite dark, so I'm going to switch on the cab light here. I'm going to activate the relative safety systems, so ETCS, TPWS, the vigilance, and the driver safety device. Then I'm going to sit in the driver's seat, press the driver reminder appliance, set the driver reminder appliance, I should say. I'm going to check that the PBC is in the full service position or max brake position, which it is. Also going to check that no master key is inserted and that the FNR switch is in the off position. And I probably should have checked this first before activating the safety systems, but it doesn't really matter too much. Anyway, I'm now going to insert the master key. I'm going to turn the FNR switch into the neutral position, and I'm going to acknowledge the AWS self-test sequence, so just like this.
TPWS and AWS operational.
There we go. I'm now going to come over to the headlight switch over here, and it is currently nighttime, so I'm going to turn the headlights into the full beam position, the full beam configuration, I should say. Just gonna pop outside and ensure that those are being displayed correctly. You have to excuse the faulty driver safety device. The developers really need to update that, although I doubt they're going to. But yeah, the driver safety device, I can't even think of how to describe it, but it shouldn't be going off while the FNR switch is in neutral. It should only be going off if it's in forward or reverse. So yeah, that needs to be updated right away. Gonna perform a, hold on, set the direction of travel. Why? I was gonna perform a static brake test here, but I don't think I can, so I'm gonna just open the doors. We're running about 5 or 6 minutes late at the moment. We have a green signal at the end of the platform with position 4 junction indicator, so we can reset our driver reminder appliance. And I'm going to be driving with the cab light on, even though you shouldn't do that in reality. I need to be able to see the power brake controller because I'm still not used to this train. I've only driven this train about 3 or 4 times. I honestly don't get a lot of time to play this game, guys, so if I can't see the power brake controller, I'm not gonna know what notch of power I'm in, and that's gonna cause a bit of difficulty. Like even if I come over here, turn off the cab light now, be quiet. Yeah, you can see. Nah, do you know what? We'll drive without the cab light. I need to challenge myself. I need to challenge myself. Wait until midnight 35. It's midnight 41. What is it? What? Have I broken the game? Hold on. Where's the door close button? I can't even see. This isn't going well, is it? Oh, there it is. Okay, let's press the door close button. Stop at Grantham. Okay, cool. So where's our... I don't even know where the monitors are. I think the... Wait, hold on. Yeah, the monitors are there. Be quiet. Right, so we have our door interlock lights. Glancing at those CCTV monitors. Glancing at the signal. It is green. F&R switch into forward. Minimal brake. Releasing the brakes instantly into power notch 1. Just waiting for the train to begin to move off there. Then up to power notch 2. Speed limit. Oh look, we're racing the 700. Let's go, brother. Let's go, brother. You got a red light, so you're not gonna get that far. Oh, he's actually beating me. Nah, he's slowing down. In a bit, bro. Anyway, speed limit is 25 miles an hour at the moment, and that is for the crossover onto the fast lines. So I'm going back down to power notch 1. You can see the board with the number 25 on it and the arrow pointing to the right. And we're up to 25 miles an hour, so I've gone into the off position on the PBC. I'm no longer accelerating, whatever you want to call it. And we're a short little 5-car train, so we should now be clear of the crossover, so we can go straight into full power. Speed limit is currently 115 miles an hour, shortly increasing to 125 miles an hour. Let's go, full steam ahead. We just passed the board now with the number 125 on it, so yeah, speed limit is 125 miles an hour. Next station is Grantham, which is nowhere near here. I'm probably not going to be talking as much as I was talking in the first video, because I don't know, just finding stuff to talk about is very long, so I'm going to remain silent for most of the time. But apologies if you hear me sniffing or something at regular intervals. I don't know what it is, but my nose tends to run a lot when I'm recording these videos. So yeah, but I'm going to do a big sniff now just to get out of the way. Hopefully it doesn't happen again. Just acknowledging the vigilance device there. So yeah, if you're watching this video at the time it's been uploaded, I'm currently working on a class 700 ultimate guide, which should be out probably before the end of October, I'd say. I've got 2 weeks off of work coming up, so I should have a lot of time to hammer on that. I feel like my class 377 guide, hold on, we got a double yellow signal in the distance, so I'm just gonna stop accelerating for a bit. That's jumped up to a green, so I can go back into full power. Yeah, my Electro Star guide, not class 377 guide. The class 377 guide, I mean, the class 377 is a type of Electro Star, but it was a general Electro Star guide that wasn't specific to the class 377. So my Electro Star guide, I feel like that was a bit of a disaster, just with the commentary and whatnot. But that was my first video on my channel, so as you can imagine, I wasn't too experienced. But with the class 700 guide that I'm doing, now that I'm a bit more experienced with the commentary, that's probably going to be of higher quality. So yeah, I'm very excited to release that, upload that. Got a lot of double yellow signals. It's very frustrating. Anyway, we're up to 120 miles an hour. down to power notch 3, down to power notch 2, and what I'm doing is I'm just aiming to balance out the speed at 122 miles an hour rather than 125 miles an hour, because it just gives me a bit of leeway, a bit of a margin for accidental acceleration. So I'm currently in power notch 2. That seems to be balancing us out at 122 fairly well. I think we're currently on an upward gradient. I think between Peterborough and Grantham there's a severe climb. I can't remember what it's called, but there's a famous hill on that section of track. Anyway, our speed was starting to creep up a bit, so I've just momentarily stopped accelerating. Now going back into power notch 1. You can see we got a flashing green signal there. So back in the day, that would permit us to travel at 140 miles an hour, but that is no longer allowed. Maximum speed is 125. So yeah, I'm just jumping between the various power notches and the off position on the PBC to try and maintain speed. Sniffing, apologies. We have a double yellow, so I'm just shutting off the power, acknowledging the AWS indication, and it's jumped up to a green just before passing it. Try be on the ball with these signals, guys. It's a good thing that automatic warning system exists, but still always try be looking out for these signals. Just to give you a bit of a what's the word? I don't even know how to describe it, but yeah, it's always good practice just to actively look out for the signals rather than relying on the automatic warning system. So yeah, you see we got a green in the distance there. You always want to see the signal before going over the AWS magnet. There has been times where I'm driving and the automatic warning system will go off, and then I look up and I'm like, oh, double yellow. But that's actually quite bad. You need to try to see the signal before the automatic warning system brings it into your attention. But that is what the automatic warning system is designed for, obviously. In case you lose focus, it brings you back into the loop. So if you watched my last video, you'll know that I overshot Grantham station. It was easily avoidable. I was reading the speedometer incorrectly. I thought I was doing 40 miles an hour entering the platform, but I was actually doing 60 miles an hour. So I'm gonna try to avoid that same mistake this time. So as I said before, I'm just bouncing between the power notches and the off position on the PBC to maintain 125, aiming to balance out the speed at 122, of course. So what I've been doing is probably going up to power notch 2. As the speed creeps up towards 125, I go down to power notch 1 and then if need be I go down to the off position. Once the speed starts to fall off, then I can repeat the process. And I'm gonna try and remain focused, because I think we're approaching the speed reduction down to 115. Actually no, not yet, but there is a speed reduction down to 115 soon, and there's no warning board for that, so I need to try and not fly through that 125, because that would be very embarrassing. I'm treating this as a sort of final exam. You know, when you're doing your driving lessons and you have the final exam, that's kind of how I'm treating this. So I just want to have a nice clean run with no errors. But as you can see, we're currently, actually I'm not sure how much tracks are in the up direction, but we're currently in the down direction, and we have two tracks. There's our track and then the track on the left. Once the track on the left converges to join our track, that is when I'm gonna get the brakes in for the 115 mph speed reduction. It is rather boring though, isn't it? Just doing nothing, flying through the countryside at 125 miles an hour. My thoughts and prayers go out to anyone that has to drive this service in real life, because that must be hell. Yeah, I'm starting to get the hang of how this train handles now, and how to maintain speed. Also listening out for the sounds of the power brake controller as well. It is quite similar to a Javelin, to be honest. Like I said, it's the same. It's within the same family as the Javelin train, so it's understandable that it will handle in a similar way. It is quite, it, yeah, it's actually quite nice to drive, to be honest. I do quite enjoy it. I just feel like the route that we've been provided with in Train Sim Mode 4, I'm not a fan of the route at all, but the train is actually quite nice. Okay, I think we're approaching the 115 mph speed limit. We're just trying to see. Yeah, that track has converged to join us, so I'm gonna make a minimal brake application to bring our speed down to 115, releasing the brakes, and I'm gonna go straight into power notch 2 just to stop us from losing too much speed. And it was very hard to make out, but we just passed the speed board now with the number 115 on it. In fact, that was impossible to make out. You just have to know that it's there. I'll be honest. And we're not too far out from Grantham Station now, so I'm gonna remain focused. Bing. Right. I'm gonna prepare to get the brakes in. I think once I exit this right hand curve. No, not once I exit this right hand curve. In fact, no, I'll get the brakes in nice and early. So yeah, so that tunnel after the 115 speed limit, there's a right hand curve after that tunnel. Once you come out of that right hand curve, that's where you can probably get your minimal brake application in for Grantham. I might have actually no, I think I've jumped on the brakes a bit too early, but better safe than sorry, you know. Better safe than sorry. No, that was way too early. I'm gonna actually release the brakes for a bit. No, I'm paranoid. I have PTSD. I have PTSD. Alright, I'll jump back on the brakes now. So that signal that we just passed is 2 signal spaces out from Grantham Station. The next signal is the signal that protects Grantham Station. So yeah, this is a nice controlled approach, just using the minimal brake application on the approach there. In this train, minimal brake application is 40%, 37.5%. Find that quite interesting. I think on a Javelin it's 30% that you get for the minimal brake application. We're down to 40 miles an hour. Could just about see the platforms coming up in the distance. So yeah, this is a very beautiful approach. Down to 30 miles an hour, so I'm gonna release the brakes. Bit of a slow approach, but like I said, better safe than sorry. And our stopping position is right at the end of the platform. So I'm gonna just make a minimal brake application on entry, and that should have us stopped in about the right place. Beautiful, beautiful. Just releasing the brakes there, back into the minimal position, and I'm just gonna jump between the minimal and release positions to help us come to a nice controlled stop. Aiming to have um that little all board there, trying to have that in the window here on the left. Oh yes, perfect. Right, full service, F&R switch into neutral, and we have a door release on the left. And we're only about a minute late. So I think this is a new thing in train sim world. Normally, once you reach your departure time, it will tell you to lock the doors, but I think now it just tells you to wait until the departure time, and even if it's after the departure time, it will still tell you to wait until the departure time. Be quiet. I'm in neutral, man. Anyway, just glancing at the banner of Peter in the distance, that tells us that we have a green signal around the corner, so we can close our doors. Glancing at the CCTV monitors, whacking the door close button. Door interlock light has illuminated. That illuminated before the door close button. I mean, that illuminated before the door close alarm stopped sounding, which is a bit weird. But I think sometimes with some trains, the doors actually close and the alarm carries on sounding for a couple of seconds. So maybe that's what happened here. Anyway, yeah, door interlock light has illuminated. Glancing at the monitor at final time. Glancing at the banner repeater. F&R switching to forward. Minimal brake application straight into power notch 1. Making sure that the brake pressure has fallen to 0. We're on the move. Full power. Next station is Newark Northgate. Speed limit is currently 100 miles an hour. It went down to 100 miles an hour on entry into Grantham Station. It's going to shortly go up to 115 and then up to 125 not long after that. So we should be able to remain in full power. I like how aggressive this train is with the acceleration. Stretching, sorry. Whew. I'm running on 4 hours of sleep and I have a 8.5 hour shift. So yeah, it's 3:09 in the morning at the moment and I have an 8.5 hour shift at 9 a.m. So this is gonna be very, very, very bad. Oh my goodness. Anyway, yeah, I think speed limit's gone up to 115. Yeah, the board for the increase up to 115 is not too far beyond Grantham Station. And then there's a tunnel that we're going to pass through shortly. On the other side of that tunnel, the speed goes up to 125. So here's the tunnel coming up now. To be honest, you can barely see that you're in the tunnel. I just managed to make out the terrain above my head. That's how I knew. And oh, hold on. Okay, so yeah, you can just about remain in full power. I was actually about to break the 115 speed limit. It's a good thing that I realized that. But no, we passed the 125 board just before accelerating above 115. So approaching 125 now. I'm gonna reduce the power down to power notch 2. We're still accelerating down to power notch 1. And I'm gonna shut off the power. I'm suspecting that we're on a bit of a downward gradient at the moment. So yeah, I'm gonna stop accelerating for now, just until our speed begins to fall back down towards 120. Sniffing, apologies. Speed started to come back down, so I've gone into power notch 2. Stop. I've stopped accelerating again because you know how it is. I'm just bouncing between the power notches and the off position. Newark Station isn't actually too far from here. What I'm looking out for is a passing loop. So there will be a short section where we'll have another track running alongside us on the left. Once we hit that, I'm gonna prepare to brake for Newark Station. The actual braking point for Newark Station is a sort of a village. There's a village and then a football field on the left. That's what I'm gonna use as my braking point. And then you hit a right-hand curve before entering Newark. So if you're on that right-hand curve, you'll know that you're close to Newark Station. So you don't want to be traveling too fast entering that right-hand curve. Can see a double yellow signal in the distance, so I'm shutting off the power. It's jumped up to green, but I had to acknowledge the AWS indication for that because we passed over the AWS magnet before it jumped up to a green aspect. Okay, so here's the passing loop now. You can see that we have our signal and then another signal associated with the passing loop on the left. So I'm getting ready to get the brakes in for Newark. Even though the braking point, we're still quite far away from the braking point, but I'm still getting ready. Double yellow. We passed the double yellow before it jumped up to a green, so I'm making an immediate brake application. You don't really want to linger about on the brakes when you're running under yellow signals. You want to try brake relatively hard because the signals, they are quite spaced out, but they're not too spaced out. So you want to be scrubbing your speed off as much as you can. It's jumped up to a green, so I can release the brakes. We're down to 90 miles an hour. But that always tends to happen on the approach to Newark. You get the double yellow that you have to slow down for. And the braking point for Newark is coming up. In fact, if I was traveling at 125, I'd probably get the brakes in about here. Because we're doing 85 miles an hour at the moment, I can delay the brake application a bit. You can see that village on the left there. And you can see the football fields I was talking about over there. So I'm going to get my minimal brake application in about now. And I'm going to up that a bit. And here's the right hand curve that I was talking about. Just reducing the brakes down to minimal. Again, I am being very overly cautious with these approaches. I think this one was very overly cautious. Oops. Down to 40. Yeah, I'm gonna release the brakes. We're going too slowly. Actually, is that Newark coming up? Alright, so that was the signal protecting Newark. Yeah, I can see the platforms coming up now. So it wasn't too overly cautious. In fact, I say this is a decent approach. Especially considering that we're driving in the leaf full season, you know, low adhesion. You don't want to be braking too hard because you'll go ice skating. So yeah, here are the platforms at Newark Station. We're down to 30 miles an hour, so again, I'm just making my minimal brake application on entry into the station, and that will bring us up to the end of the platform, which is where our stopping position is. just using bursts of the minimal brake application to just gradually bring our speed down. There's the all board right there. So again, just trying to put that in the window on the left. Come on. Come on. There we go, perfect. Yeah, this handle is very similar to a Javelin. That's why I'm so good at driving it. Anyway, full service, neutral. I can't see the button, so I'm gonna have to stand up very quickly. There we go. We don't have a platform starter signal here, but our last signal was a green because I actually remember it. I remember seeing it, and if you don't remember seeing it, you can always glance at your AWS visual indication. I'm not sure where it is. I think it's around here somewhere, but it's not showing up at the moment, so that tells us that the last signal that we passed was a green. Right, so we are ready to depart Newark Northgate here. Going to press the door close button. Please be quiet. Right, door interlock light has illuminated. We don't have a platform starter signal, but our last signal was a green. Glancing at the CCTV monitors, F&R switch into forward, releasing the brakes, and the minimal power. Hold on. Okay, yeah, minimal power. Now that we're on the move, straight up to full power. Speed limit is currently 125 miles an hour, shortly reducing to 100 miles an hour. Although the 100 mile an hour speed limit isn't actually marked, but I'll tell you when it commences. It's only for a short section of track. And then it goes back up to 125. So we're now going to be running fast up to Doncaster. We're going to be skipping Retford Station. Right, so the speed reduction down to 100 miles an hour isn't going to affect us, but it would affect a train that wasn't stopping at Newark. So I'd say, where is it? All right, it was about there. What it was, there's another line that crosses us. Put that it's almost a perpendicular crossing. Speed limit's gone back up to 125 miles an hour, by the way. So there's another line that crosses over our line at an almost perpendicular angle. It's called Newark Flat Crossing, and it's the only crossing of that design in the United Kingdom, and the speed limit across that is 100 miles an hour, but it's not marked. But I'd say it's shortly after Newark Station, so if you're driving a fast service, just aim to be doing 100 on the other side of Newark Station, and then you'll see the board that tells you when you can accelerate back up to 125. Right, we're entering unfamiliar territory now. I've only driven along this section of track once, so doing a nighttime run is very brave. The only reason why I have the confidence to do a nighttime run is because the speed reductions from here onwards have warning boards associated with them. So I just need to look out for the warning boards and I should be good. Am I recording? I mean, it would be a bit too late now, but I am recording. Oh, that would have been annoying, wouldn't it? Up to 120, so down to power notch 3, down to power notch 2, can see a double yellow signal. Jump up. It didn't jump up. Okay, minimal brake application. Gonna up that to about 50%, 60% I should say. Yeah, that's one thing I'm not used to. Okay, I can see a green signal, so releasing the brakes back into full power. That's one thing I'm not used to with these high speed services. You have to brake relatively hard when you pass a double yellow signal. With the passenger services that I'm used to driving, you can just make a minimal brake application when you pass a double yellow signal, and that will bring your speed off. Even if you're traveling at high speed, a minimal brake application normally does the job. But if you were to do that on here, you'd end up flying past the red signal. So yeah, you have to brake relatively hard. So what I'm looking out for, and I don't think we're near it yet, but I'm looking out for a warning board for a speed reduction down to 115 miles an hour. And because we're traveling at such high speed and it is currently night time, I have to remain very focused because the warning board is going to be very hard to make out. So I don't want to miss it. I don't want to miss it at all. That's a whistle board there, but it's currently 1:20 a.m. so I'm not going to sound the horn. Double yellow jumped up to green, no action required. And yeah, I'm just trying to keep my eyes peeled. Excuse me. I'm just trying to keep my eyes peeled for that warning board. I really don't want to be missing that. It's a bit of a challenge because I'm trying to keep an eye on the speedometer as well. I just saw the warning board there, but that was ridiculously difficult to make out. My goodness. I can't believe that. I literally barely was able to make that out. Wow. Anyway, yeah, speed limit is now 115 miles an hour. Even the commencement board, I barely saw that. That is ridiculous. I don't know how. Caught blind me. That is mad. That is absolutely mental. I don't know how I saw that. Wow, that's ridiculous. I can't lie. Yeah, I'm gonna have to actually, we're doing a bit more than 115 at the moment, but it's not the end of the world. I'm gonna have to learn this route. Well, to be honest, I'm not gonna. I don't really like this route, so I'm probably not gonna drive on it again. But yeah, it just goes to show that you really need to learn the routes, as in actually learn them, learn every curve. The way I know the Brighton mainland, for example, I know that like the back of my hand. I know every curve, every corner, every upward gradient, every downward gradient. The only thing I don't know is the position of every signal. But yeah, apart from that, I literally know the Brighton mainland like the back of my hand. But this route, I'm still new to this route, so I don't know. I just don't know where everything is. Right, so the speed limit, it goes up to 120, but I don't know if we've passed the commencement board for the 120 yet. But Retford Station, we're not stopping at Retford Station. Once you pass through Retford Station, the speed limit goes up to 125 miles an hour. So I'm just going to be looking out for Retford Station. Then that's when I'll know that I'm good. Yeah, I can see Retford Station now. So I'm going to accelerate up to 125. So yeah, again, that's just me not being able to make out the speed boards properly. Like we're just traveling too fast. You literally have to know where they are if you want to have any chance of driving correctly. And I'm now in a similar predicament. This time I need to look out for a warning board for a speed reduction down to 110 miles an hour. This is going to be brutal, I can't lie. This is going to be brutal. The speed board down to 115, I honestly don't know how I made that out. That was that it literally just went by like lickety split. I oh my goodness. So yeah, the warning board for the speed reduction down to 110. I don't know where it is, I'll be honest. Like I said, I've only driven on this section of track once. All I know is that there's a warning board for a speed reduction down to 110 miles an hour. Double yellow signal, jumped up to a green, no action required. I'm really trying to keep my eyes peeled for this warning board. If you could literally miss it by blinking. That's how fast we're traveling. Was that the warning board there? This is ridiculous. If you blink at the wrong time, you're gonna miss the warning board. It's ridiculous. I'm just straining my eyes right now, looking to the left of the track. So yeah, once again, just using various power notches to maintain speed. And then once the speed begins to creep up towards 125, I just stop accelerating. Once the speed falls down towards 120, I just repeat the process. Was that the warning board there? I don't know. Nah, I think that was the warning board. I'm gonna brake just to be safe. I honestly, I'm sure that was the warning board. I think it was. I don't know, you know. I actually don't know. We're on a very tight curve at the moment. In fact, no, it was. It was. The reason why I know that it was is because we just passed over a sort of bridge. I remember passing over that bridge in my practice run. And I'm just trying to look out for the board for the commencement of the return to 125. I just find that ridiculous. It just shows that you really need to. Alright, so there's the 125. So back into full power. Yeah, I just find that ridiculous how uncertain I am. It just shows that you really need to learn the route thoroughly if you want to have any chance of driving it successfully. And then speed limit remains at 125 up until the approach to Doncaster station. So yeah, we're more or less all good from here. Apologies guys, sniffing. And we're gonna have a red signal at the end of Doncaster platform, so I don't really need to be worried about the braking points or anything for Doncaster because the yellow signals in advance of Doncaster station, we're gonna have to slow down when we pass those anyway. We're not too far out from Doncaster now. I actually recognize this section of track that we're on. Yeah, I think I'm gonna I'm gonna do quite a few southbound runs in daylight before attempting to do a nighttime run, because yeah, it's a different game, I can't lie. Anyway, getting the brakes in now for this double yellow signal. I know that is the signal 2 spaces out from Doncaster. You can see we have this massive freight yard on the left, So that tells us that we're not too far out from Doncaster. So I've just made a nice and early brake application. 70% braking as well, relatively hard. Speed limit's now gone down to 120 miles an hour, but that isn't going to affect us because we're slowing down for Doncaster station anyway. This is 2 signal spacings out from Doncaster. So the previous signal was 3 signal spacings out. I feel like I said it was 2 signal spacings out by mistake. And then the signal protecting Doncaster station is currently displaying a red aspect, but it's most likely going to change as we get closer to it, but I can't assume that, so I'm just going to drive as if we have to stop at it. So those 2 signals on the left don't apply to us. I actually remember seeing those on the practice run, so I remember I remember those they have the potential to catch you out, so I just remembered them being there. And the signal is displaying, I can't even see, you know. Let me remain on the brakes until I'm certain. Down to 20 miles an hour. That is a, what is that? I can't even, okay, no, that's the signal. I can see the signal in the distance. I thought that thing over there was the signal, but that's a street light. No, the signal's over there. And it's just changed to a single yellow with position 1 junction indicator. So I'm going to accelerate very briefly, just power notch 2. Speed limit entering Doncaster station is 35 miles an hour. Pardon me. And we have a red signal at the end of the platform. Yeah, unfortunately, this is going to be my last time driving this route in the northbound direction. I just, like I said, I'm not a fan of it. I just, it's not for me. It's not for me. I just need content for the channel, if I'm being honest. But anyway, yeah, I've got my minimal brake application in. Having a nice controlled approach into Doncaster station. Down to 20 miles an hour, releasing the brakes. We're about midway along the platform, so I'm going to jump back on the brakes there. Down to 10 miles an hour. I'm going to momentarily release the brakes again. I just keep bouncing between the minimal and release positions just to creep towards our stopping position here. You can see the stop board coming up. There we are, perfect. Full service, neutral, we have a red signal, so setting the driver reminder appliance, and we have a door release on the left. Right, F and R switch into off, remove the master key, and we'll deactivate our safety systems. And exit the cab. And that concludes this commentated drive. I'd like to thank you guys for taking the time to watch this video. Constructive criticism and feedback is more than welcome in the comment section and highly appreciated. If you'd like to further support the channel, feel free to like and subscribe. I will catch you guys in the next one. Love.